Washington editor at The Spectator and conservative commentator Amber Athey is out with a new piece on cancel culture, my favorite subject. This time, Amber herself is at the center of the story. She says she was fired from the morning radio show she co-hosted on WMAL last month for a joke she made about Vice President Kamala Harris's State of the Union outfit.
Amber said she tweeted about the VP's all-brown suit, saying, quote, "Kamala looks like a UPS employee. What can brown do for you? Nothing good, apparently." Amber joins us now to discuss. Welcome back to Rising.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
You know, I didn't laugh at this joke the first time I read it, but it gets funnier each subsequent time, and now I laugh when I read it. So.
Yeah, I will admit it was definitely not my best joke. It was honestly kind of a throwaway tweet. Like, I better say something about the State of the Union. I was actually at trivia night when I wrote this. And what's funny is I workshopped this with the table, and we all agreed that this was a totally safe tweet. So I don't know, maybe I should drag my trivia team down with me for guiding me in the wrong direction. But I mean, nobody, when this tweet was first sent out, thought that this was problematic. It was only a few days later when some left-wing activists got a hold of it, and they were upset because I was saying that you shouldn't have medical transitions for kids who are transgender. And so that sparked the whole backlash where they were searching for anything they possibly could to try to silence me, censor me, cancel me. And unfortunately, they succeeded. The radio company, Cumulus Media, actually, I guess, agreed with their interpretation of this tweet as being racist.
Isn't Cumulus, I thought they were like a conservative radio network.
I don't know.
Are they, Amber? What's their political lean?
Yeah, it's a good question. I tend to think that corporations don't really have politics. They just do what's best for them. But in that vein, Cumulus does own a significant number of conservative radio stations. And WMAL, the one that they own, was the host of the Rush Limbaugh show for something like 20 years. So the idea that if someone just accuses you of racist, Cumulus is going to fire you, there would be no conservative radio hosts left. I mean, it's kind of like a rite of passage if you're on conservative talk radio, that at some point or another you get accused of some kind of bigotry.
This would be your dream come true, Ryan. I saw that snide smile.
I'm just thinking of no kind of Rush Limbaugh ever having been hosted.
But so Amber, the mechanism for this, talk to us about it. So did they get just flooded with comments or messages or something? Because I know, I've been on WMAL with Vince, with Larry, your co-host. They're conservatives, friends of mine, and they I don't think they don't want you gone, certainly. So it was people, kind of flooding the inboxes of executives at the company. Is that what it was?
Yeah, my understanding is that they were actually using that corporate form that is pretty much on every company's website that I always kind of assumed just really didn't go to anybody. But apparently they have someone manning the switch at Cumulus. I don't know how many emails they actually received. There's a lot about the case that is still rather murky. In fact, we don't know to this day which individual was actually responsible for making that final decision to fire me. I know who called me on the phone and told me about it, but we believe that it actually came from even higher up than that. So they maybe got a half a dozen emails just based on the Twitter traffic that this was receiving, because I've had people try to cancel me before. I can tell you that this was one of the least aggressive efforts that I faced, and yet still it was apparently enough for Cumulus to panic.
What do you think separated this from past unsuccessful attempts?
Yeah, I think if you look at actually the corporate structure of Cumulus and a lot of the people who are at the top, they aren't conservative, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. They are a conservative company in that they host a lot of conservative content, but the CEO, Mary Berner, is actually pretty liberal, and apparently she has a transgender child, which I did not know. But a lot of the internal company trainings and emails that get sent out and things like that, you would never expect from a company that hosts people like Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. And then apparently one of the individuals who called me, I believe, is a registered Democrat. I was able to find his party affiliation as well. So when you have people like that who are on the receiving end of emails as opposed to conservatives who are willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, I mean, they didn't even come to me and ask me to explain the tweet or give me the opportunity to defend myself. And I think that's because reflexively, maybe they just agreed politically with the people who were trying to shut me down.
Yeah. I know a lot of people on the right often suspect that so-called right-leaning institutions actually have contempt for conservatives or, do not actually believe in those values, and they're kind of, doing lip service or something. I don't know how. I think it depends on the institution, whether I think that has some merit or validity or not. But this seems to be an example where you might say, yeah, there is some validity.
I completely agree. I think there is 100% validity here. Look, Mary Berner, the CEO of Cumulus Media, gets a $1.5 million base salary and about $7 million a year with all of her stock options from conservative content. I mean, this is a company that makes the vast majority of its money from these conservative talk radio hosts, and yet they seemingly have no interest in protecting their talent or even affording them the respect of allowing them to defend themselves. And by the way, the other hosts on this network or on the station, I have to point out, have been incredibly supportive of me, have tried to get this decision reversed over the past month, and have spoken publicly on their own shows defending me. So they also don't respect the talent that is remaining in order to listen to how they feel about this situation. So I think it's really unfortunate you have these sort of corporate drones that don't even value the same things that they're profiting from.
Yeah. What was the show? What was it? A weekly, daily? What was the thing that you were fired from as a result of this?
O'Connor and Company was a morning drive time radio show, and we officially set the roster back in the fall. It was Larry O'Connor as the main host, and then we had 3 rotating co-hosts, including myself, Patrice Onwuka, and Julie Gunlock. And the idea is that we were all women, to Larry's obviously being a man, and also we represented diverse perspectives because we were different ages. Some of them have children, some I don't. I'm unmarried, and I was the co-host every Wednesday and Thursday morning, so 2 days a week. So this is a part-time job for me. I'm going to be fine. I'm able to pay my rent this month. I'm still employed by The Spectator. To all the people who are mocking me for being unemployed, I'm sorry, you have the facts wrong. But it's still obviously a huge loss because I really enjoy doing the show. I really loved my co-host. And I love so many people at WMAL, so it is disappointing.
Yeah. You think we get up early. I think I know what time Larry has to drive into work because I've hung out with him before. So this, and I want our viewers to make clear, this isn't just like morning show solidarity or something. It's, I'm a libertarian, so I believe that private employers can, get rid of their employees if they don't like it. If we said really offensive stuff or something they didn't like, we could be gotten rid of. But you want to kind of push back on the cultural norm that, the second you say something wrong or that catches someone in the wrong way, you could or should be fired. Because it's so hypocritical. It's so selective. Like you said, Amber, that's probably not by any stretch of the imagination the most extreme thing you've ever said. It's just based on what gets, what catches Twitter's eye or what catches some irate person's eye. And really that, while we often speak up about cases that involve people in the media because they're high profile, they catch our attention, this is really a problem that affects people in non-public facing roles, just working class people who have even less expectation that they should have some protection or ability to speak their mind, who get caught up for being out of step with just with what the elites of society think is okay to say, and they end up in trouble.
Also, this one just doesn't make any sense. You were talking about her outfit.
Right.
What does that have to do
with
racism?
Even that, the rules for whether and in what circumstances it is okay to critique the appearances of political officials are all over the place. You can call Trump, would you be fired for calling Trump Cheeto Hitler? I don't know. I doubt it. Right? It's just it's totally arbitrary.
Can you make fun of how those ties dangle down to his knees?
Yeah.
You should be able
frankly,
to.
we don't really live in a free democratic society if you can't criticize our most powerful politicians. This is kind of like an elites versus the rest of us kind of story too. But as you mentioned, Robbie, this isn't just about me. Like I said, I'm going to be fine. I'm still incredibly privileged. I get to talk about politics for a living. I think that's awesome. And, something that a lot of people would love to do. And it's really the people who don't have the platform that I do, who get fired for this kind of stuff, who need to be thought of in this situation. Because if I can be fired like this, even though I have, so many allies at the station and in conservative media, think about all of those people out there who have no recourse when this happens to them. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Amber, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll be back with more Rising right after this.